whatever. Vocational rehab is a partner of ours. They used to be part of the Department of Labor, but down there they're a partner. The other thing that we get involved in is youth employment.
Okay.
Now you have young people who want to work, 13, 14-year-olds. The laws have changed. And so a business does not get into trouble with a fine. We provide the steps for those parents to register their kids to get a number. Mm-hmm. That process is a 3-step process. First, they have the minor or the parent registers the youth. Then the second thing is they have to take that number and take it over to the school board, right. Coffee County School Board. And then if they've been offered a job, then they take the paperwork over to the employer. That way it's all on file. The federal government knows that they're not doing anything underhanded, because there are certain rules and stipulations, like youth cannot work at Pilgrims. They can't work in places in manufacturing and things like that. So that's one thing that we do.
So you said the age, because I'm thinking like 15, 16, so
they
that
can
has
work.
changed. Okay, because you remember like 13, 14, is that age you start putting them in the system?
Yes, they can.
Oh, they can.
They can, depending on the business. Mm-hmm. Now the employer has, ways and stuff that they are, but if you go on our website, and our website has all this information on it, it'll have child labor laws, and it'll pull all the information up, and it'll basically give you step by step of what you need to do and how to do it.
Well, bless their hearts. I admire the young people. They're so eager, a lot of them, and ready to get into the workforce. So that's a great way to introduce them by going through the career center.
It really is. It really is. Mm-hmm. And when we do have them come in, one of the things we do is that we also, because all the agencies around here, schools, everything, we consider them partners. So I always tell them, get in touch with the school system, Linda Crib,
yes.
STEM program. This is something, if you're interested in it, please, we want you to do that, because you might not have to go that route to work in fast food or anything. Depending on what your interests are, then you might qualify for the STEM program or to know about that. And it's a lot of the students, young people can hear things, but they don't realize it. So that's one thing that we do.
I was going to ask, how do you, as the Career Center, work to partner with the as early as the school and the manufacturers, the labor market, to assess the needs of what they need for as employees? Well,
they have to let us know, like, what are their job requirements, what kind of skills and abilities they're looking for. And that's why I said the system that we have in Employ Georgia is very, very useful, because it actually matches us. A lot of people, you can ask them, well, what did you do? And they'll say, I can't remember, or I'm not sure. Well, did you work for this agency? We're able to pull that information. So if that employer is no longer here, or that person is no longer with them, we're able to match those same skills with an agency, and we can call them, just like I did the gentleman today, and say, I've got somebody who has those skills. Let me send them over and stuff, because you need somebody to go to work.
Okay. Well, talk to us some about the new job search program.
Well, the job search program that we have, it has many, many scopes. On the website, again, it talks about children with disabilities, how they can find jobs and what the steps are to employment. Veterans, the same thing. Really, vocational rehab. It has steps where if people don't mind to read, it will just tell you everything. And there are also opportunities with the state. We are now part of the state of Georgia. So all of our jobs are now listed under the state of Georgia, because we are a state agency, and a lot of people think we charge for all of our services, but we don't charge anything. We basically work for the state. Everything that we provide is free of charge.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And we're glad that you are here in this community. What is our current unemployment rate?
Right now, as of January, because it's behind, we're at 6%. But in November, we were at the same thing. And in December, we went down a little bit. And really, the state of Georgia is still 5 point something, and it kind of fluctuates. So when I look at it, I compare ourselves to the state as well as the nation, and that just kind of lets us know. It's kind of like what Commissioner the commissioner told us, Commissioner Butler told us, he said, it is not my interest to monitor unemployment rates. My interest is matching those workers with those employers, because when you find the perfect match, the unemployment rate is going to go down.
Right.
And that will help retention, it'll help economic development, and people are able to live and do what they need to do. So when he came here to speak on that, that's the whole premise that I've got the staff to incorporate, that we're not just trying to put anybody, because we'll have people come in and say, I need a job.
Yes.
I'll go do anything. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't do that for you, because if I put you anywhere, you're not going to be happy.
Right.
Our goal is to put you in a career, and that's one reason we're called the Career Center.
Yes. Well, I like it. What tips would you give a person, an individual who is employed or maybe employed just looking for a job, a career change, whenever they come to your center, that they need to bring with them to be prepared to get enrolled in a profile rather created in your system?
One of the things is, first and foremost, and we've talked about this, the employers are always talking about this, be dressed, be ready to go on an interview. Don't come in your pajamas, don't come with your hair up or something in rollers. Come dressed as if you were going to the interview, because a lot of times the employers are actually in our office and they'll say they'll do on-the-spot interviews. But if you've got to go home,
right,
you never
miss that opportunity.
You'll miss that opportunity. We always tell people to make sure that you bring a pictured ID with you, driver's license or whatever, and your original Social Security card. A lot of people lose their Social Security cards, and they don't realize how easy it is to get a letter to say that they can have their Social Security number is valid through a letter. We always tell them, make sure you know your work history. We can help you create a resume, because a lot of the employers are saying now, when you come into me, I want to see your resume. So that's why we are constantly promoting Employ Georgia.
Yes.
And that's why it's basically called soft skills. We're telling people, be ready, dressed, get your hair combed, get all of that done. Make sure that you're not wearing too much perfume.
Yes.
Because a lot of employers have allergies and they can't handle that. Make sure that you just do the bare minimum. We're not asking you to come dressed, like you're going to a ball or anything like that. We always tell the ladies, please watch the depth of your neckline, the hem of your garments,
yes,
your skirts. You can wear pants because that's acceptable. The young men to pull up their pants.
Yes.
And even though they have a belt, to tighten that belt.
Yes.
Because it's a safety issue if you're going into any manufacturing field, that you need to have safety first. Think about safety. So those are some of the things, the stuff that I can advise people, and always come in with a good attitude.
Oh, yes.
If you got up this morning and you were in a bad mood, don't come, because that can translate into a bad person, and an employer will not hire you based on that. You have to have a smile on your face, a good attitude. I always tell people, have a sunshine in your heart, smile on your face, and just a good attitude, and learn how to answer questions, not just say, yo, man.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how it is. Answer in complete sentences, and if you have to think of something and you can't, just say, could you ask me that question again? Those kind of things.
Okay. Well, that's great. Those are some great tips just for the average person, walking in. Be prepared as if you're going for expecting a job that day, because like you said, you never know who's going to be in the center. And just listening to you talk, the Employ Georgia is going to be a great remedy to be a match up the right employee, yes, with the employer in the community.
Yeah, and we really want to encourage our employers to use it as well, because if an employer has somebody they let go today, they're looking for somebody to fill that spot. And sometimes you might have resources for people, but people change their phone numbers and do not notify the employers. This system allows an employer to go into their account in their job order, look at the recommended people who have not applied, send them an email or pick up the phone and call them and say, I would like for you to come in to interview for my position. And that's why it's putting the responsibility more into the employer's hands, so they're not saying, well, I'm not getting people, I need people. And like I was telling an employer today, I said, you've got the whole world right in your lap, and it's going to help you. But like anything, it takes time for them to get used to it.
Right, right. When you mentioned that it's tied in statewide with all the jobs, you know, within the state of Georgia. So if I'm living here in Douglas and Coffee County, whenever I go into the Employ Georgia site setting up my information, then do I get to select, like, okay, I may be interested in a job in Macon, Valdosta, Douglas, and then those areas. Okay, great.
It defines it as far as areas, and it also defines it, it'll say, you can say, well, I want to select a job 10, 25, 50, or 100 miles from my zip code. And it looks for those jobs based on zip code. So you can say, for example, it's a lot of people in Atlanta think we're Douglas County.
Yes.
So they'll call us and they'll put in for jobs, but with this system, it eliminates that. So wherever you are, and we encourage people, if they're going to leave this area, you can do this in Florida, any of the 50 states now, because each one of them have this program. It's just by the state. So you have Employ Florida, Employ Georgia, Employ South Carolina. Works on the same premise, and you can do the same thing.
All right. And your location for your career center is?
We are at 70 Lockwood Drive in Douglas. We're across the street from Walmart Distribution Center. In a red brick facility, and you can't miss us.
All right.
And we are open from 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. Any federal holidays, we're not there. But Good Friday, we will be open.
You'll be open Friday, okay. Well, thank you, Ms. Walker, for coming on today, explaining more about the Georgia Department of Labor, Douglas Career Center.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break and come back with some closing announcements.
The City of Douglas and the Southern Home Vintage Market invite you to downtown Douglas Central Square Complex. Dealers from all over the Southeast will gather here with a huge selection of vintage decor and antiques. This market will feature treasures like furniture, depression glass, old Pyrex and kitchenwares, repurposed wood, painted furniture, vintage jewelry, all things for home and garden, barbecue snacks, and drinks. This indoor market will be Friday, April 8th from 2 to 6 and Saturday, April 9th from 8 to 2. Grab a friend and find the shortest route to Douglas.
Before I leave today, just want to share some announcements with you on behalf of the City of Douglas. Our Public Works Department plans to start mosquito spraying earlier this year than normal, just to go ahead and get a jump on controlling the mosquito population. We know that there's a Zika virus out there now, and we just want to do all that we can. And we encourage people to know that there are things that you can do around your home to also control the mosquitoes that hatch. We have some brochures available at City Hall as well as online. Just visit cityofdouglas.com and download that brochure. Our Douglas Police Department is seeking clergymen and women to serve as chaplains at the Douglas Police Department. Excuse me, if you are interested, please give them a call, 384-2222, and they will be glad to get the information to you for us, the criteria and description of what exactly they would need the chaplains to do. The City of Douglas has launched a Yard of the Month program, and we are looking for a civic group or individual or club to take over heading up this project. If you are interested in heading up a Yard of the Month program, what we purpose for it to do is to go around in the different neighborhoods and pick out those homes, people who really take great care of just making sure that their yards are clean and anti-litter free. So, well, litter free, I'm sorry. So if you are interested in heading up that initiative, please give the City of Douglas a call, and I'll give you some numbers at the end because I have several announcements. The City and county are teaming together seeking to fill the public defender's position. The current person holding this position has resigned and this job and will no longer be in that job at the end of April. So Coffee County, Georgia and the City of Douglas are seeking a person to fill the position of public defender for the state of Georgia Juvenile Court and Municipal Court for the City of Douglas. Anyone wishing to be considered for this position should submit a resume